Hello my friends, in today's video I'm going to show you how to summarize YouTube videos with LangChain and OpenAI GPT-3.5 model. This is going to be the first video I ever created about LangChain, but in the previous weeks I've been spending all the time with LangChain because this library is really powerful. It offers so many great solutions, out-of-the-box solutions. The implementation is easy and you can use both open source and OpenAI large language models, and it's got so many very practical modules that you can use in order to build your large language models projects quickly. And it's very popular, and its popularity is only growing. It's already at over 50,000 stars on GitHub. And one of the main advantages are LangChain Loaders, and LangChain offers over 80 loaders. And today we're going to talk about YouTube Loader and how to use it in order to make those summaries. So let's jump straight in. Let's move to the notebook. This is just a standard Python notebook, but I run it in my Visual Studio Code. So here's a quick introduction to that notebook so that once you load it, you know what you can expect. And I've added several requirements. These are the libraries that we will need to run this notebook. And once you've got your virtual environment, you can just run this command and all the necessary packages will be installed on your local machine. The first step is loading the OpenAI API key, which I've got in my .env file. I've got in a parent directory. That's why the code to load OpenAI API key is so long, but if you keep them in the same directory, you can get rid of all of the highlighted code like this, and then remove this .env path. Just call the load.env without any parameter, and your API key will be loaded. Why do we need the API key? To make calls to the OpenAI, because using GPT models isn't free. I've explained how to get and load the OpenAI API key in another video, so we can check it out. But for now, let's just move on. Like I mentioned in this video, I'll be exploring LangChain and LangChain Loaders. And LangChain offers over 80 loaders, and I've got this image from the course on deep learning AI. And the biggest advantage of using API loaders, of using LangChain Loaders, is that you've got so many different inputs. Like you can see like all of types of the inputs, like PDFs, text, JSON, markdowns, and different databases like pandas, datasets, Wikipedia, anything. And the biggest advantage of using LangChain document loaders is that you can take any of those inputs and convert it to standardized document format. And I will show you how it looks in a second. And yeah, so in this video, I will show you how to get advantage of LangChain for getting YouTube transcripts and metadata. And yeah, so the first step will be just to import the YouTube loader from the LangChain YouTube loaders. And this YouTube loader has this method called from YouTube URL, and I've already pasted the URL I want to check, and it is for this video. So if I go here and click share and then click copy, and let me just confirm this is the same URL. And then having this URL, we just call this, and then we've got the loader, which is already standardized, and on the loader we call the load function, and we get the docs, and docs is the list of documents, because we can pass to this function, we can pass a list of in this case YouTube videos. So that's why when I want to show you the type of the doc, I'm taking the first element of this list, and as you can see, this type is LangChain schema document, which contains then two keys, which is page content, which is basically the transcript, because with just by calling this function, we've loaded the whole transcript, and it's my mistake, I haven't explained it already, but just calling this 2 lines is enough to load the whole YouTube transcript. And yeah, like I said, then we've got the type of document, and just explain it, this is the document, and page content is this transcript. And just to confirm, less than 24 hours ago, Meta released Llama 2. And if I go to that video and click on show transcript, you can see this is this is basically the same text. And at the end of this document, we've got metadata with source, and the source is just, you know, the URL, this part of the URL. And like I said, we've got the transcript and the metadata, and I'm just stripping them here so that we don't use the document anymore. But to get the transcript itself, we just call docs and then the first element and then page content, because this is where the transcript is. And for metadata, do the same, but with the metadata key. And we've got the transcript, which is the same. And because it's all in a single line, it's very hard to read. So I've used this text wrap library to show you this transcript again, and I've limited it to 2000 characters. And this is like just for readability, so we can see the transcript this way. And again, just to print metadata. But right now, all we've got is this URL part of the video. And it would be great to get some more metadata. We call the same function, and we load the same transcript, just like we did that here. But the only difference is that we've added this add video info, and then we strip metadata again, and we've got the source like previously, but we've got much more. And I've used this function only to show you metadata we've got now. So we've got title, we've got description, and to be honest, I don't know why this is unknown. We see the views, view count, and yeah, 85,000. Thumbnail thumbnail URL, which if I click on it, we see that. And if you remember, this was the thumbnail. Yeah, and some additional information. Yeah, so that's it for the metadata. And let's move to count tokens, because it is important if we want to summarize videos and just to know how many tokens we pass to the model. And counting the tokens helps us manage the context length. Yeah, and we will use the tick token package for counting the tokens. And this is a basic function that returns the number of tokens for our model. And just for the test, I've used this function to count tokens for this sentence, and we got 7. And then what I did, I've counted the tokens for the whole transcript, and we are at 3000. And just to show you, this is like, I've also used the tokenizer on OpenAI, and I've pasted the exact same transcript, and I've got different number of tokens. And to be honest, I don't know why. But in our case, for GPT 3.5 Turbo, we've got so many tokens. This is very important because we will pass the whole transcript to our GPT model. And the standard GPT 3.5 Turbo has the context length of 4000 tokens. And just by pasting the transcript, we're using like 75% of that context length. Just slightly over 3000 is still okay for what we're going to do. So yeah, and having this transcript, I want to use actually the large language models and GPT 3.5 to generate summaries for that video. And we will do it in 3 steps. At first, we will just need our model, and using the LangChain to get standard GPT 3.5, we just import chat OpenAI from chat models, and we just initialize it with this line. And I'm using the model which was here. So the standard GPT 3.5 Turbo, and I set a very low temperature because I want to increase the reasoning of the model. I want the almost deterministic outputs, but yeah, explaining the temperature is out of the scope of this video. But the higher the temperature, the more creative and unpredictable the outputs. So I set it very low because you can set the temperature in the range of between 0 and 1, and 0 means deterministic, no creativity, and 1 is very creative and unpredictable. And here's another feature of LangChain, because LangChain has these prompt templates. And in this cell, I'm just preparing the summary prompt, which is called like summarize the video with the transcript delimited by triple backticks. And I'm afraid I forgot to use the triple backticks. And I just asked a simple question: what are the 5 key takeaways? And then I use transcript, and I will pass the transcript that we've got from our video. And to do that, we will use again LangChain prompts and our chat model. And for that, I've created the function to summarize videos. And in the first step, we will just initialize the chat prompt template from LangChain, and I will pass the template to it. And then it knows that we've got some variables like transcript, because that's because I use the curly braces for that. And then format the prompt, I use the same prompt and format messages, and I pass this transcript to the template. And again, I initialize inside of the function, I initialize my large language model, which will be GPT-3.5 Turbo. And then I generate summary only by calling my LLM model together with the formatted prompt, and this will return our summary. Yeah, and then having this summary, I call the function with the transcript from our video, and the summary returns the AI message with content, which is the summary, and some additional data which isn't really important right now. So I'm printing the summary, and just as a reminder, I asked what are the 5 key takeaways from this video, and the video discusses the release of Llama 2, our the open source Llama model, and the 5 key takeaways. So this is basically the short summary of our video. And this is where this video could end, because I just wanted to show you how to use YouTube Loader from LangChain. Now I just want to mention the true power of large language models. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I wrote a little bit about it. But my main point is that right now we've got the same transcript, but we can perform different tasks, and all we have to do is to change the prompt. So let's just use the very exact same transcript, the same function, summarize video. So that's the function we just used to create our first summary. But let's just change our prompt a little bit. And the first part is identical, almost identical, just, you will, I'm telling my large language model, I'll be passing a transcript, but this time I say what has improved in Llama 2 compared to Llama 1, whereas in the previous prompt I said what are the 5 key takeaways. And this is how you actually harness the real power of large language models. Because my first prompt is very, very general, so because it's general, I will get a very general response. But if I watch a YouTube video and I look for specific information, I can just ask with a different prompt. And that's exactly what I did here. I said, let me compare these two models. And then I run this function again, and I've got this kind of answer. In Llama 2, several improvements have been made compared to Llama 1. So I get exactly what I want. And I got 5 points, like training on more data, increased model size, longer context length, fine-tuning for chat, and improved benchmark performance, which is basically amazing, because that's exactly what I wanted to know. And even if the video was much, much longer, I care only about this part of the video, and I get it from my large language model, from my function, although I've used the exactly the same transcript as before. That's it for today. You can find this notebook on my GitHub. I will link it in the description. So I highly encourage you to take this notebook and play with transcripts yourself. So feel free to get different videos and summarize them and I highly encourage you to play with the prompts so that you ask for more specific questions to really see the power of large language models. And in the following weeks, you can expect much more content with LangChain, and also I will be exploring how to use LangChain with open source models like Llama 2 and Falcon. So make sure to subscribe and hit the button to get notified when new videos come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.